how can brown guys stand out if they want to date other ethnicities like white girls?
It's a good question. So one thing I always tell my clients is to break your stereotypes. So adding on to what Mike just said in the last question, right? Because there's so few brown guys, Asian guys getting immense results with women versus like if you think about white guys, it's like on average they're all getting average results with women. I find with the more ethnic guys, the Asian guys, the brown guys, it's just a smaller percentage of guys getting pretty much all the hot girls, right? So I know in my city, for example, there's just a handful of brown dudes I know who I'm either friends with or not friends with, but they're tearing it up. And I've actually met up with these guys and talked to them about this. And we're like kind of almost compare notes, be like, there was a guy, I actually had beef with this guy for like 10 years, and we squashed it. We're cool now. And he was kind of pointing out how every time he pulls a girl, they always kind of say, oh, yeah, I've hooked up with Justin, right? It's because there's such a small percentage of guys, getting those results because, most Indian guys think it's out of the reality to hook up with white chicks, right? But what you got to do is you got to just break your stereotype. So things like getting tattoos, piercings, things that would break the negative connotation of what an Indian guy would be like or an Asian guy would be like, right? So the stereotype of a lot of Asian guys is, they're nerdy or they're shy or they're kind of docile, right? So be the opposite of that, right? Be a charismatic, fit, well put together, version of that, right? Or with Indian guys, a lot of Indian guys are seen as like cringy or just like, Bob's and Vagine, right? Like, don't be that guy, right? Be the guy who's, cool, got cool things going on for him, has a cool lifestyle, has an interesting value to offer from your personality or even, just your fashion, your grooming, your style, right? So one thing I always recommend Indian guys do to stand out and date other ethnicities is tattoos, piercings, and dress better. Just dress different. Do everything you can to differentiate yourself from the crowd. So here in Toronto, right, there's a suburb city called Brampton, and it's just dude, it's like a colony of fucking New Delhi, India, right? It's just Indian guys in turbans, right? It's almost like a famous city, like worldwide. Everyone knows the city as, just an Indian city, right? That's where all the Uber drivers live, right? And the whole point is you want to fucking differentiate yourself from being one of those guys, right? Because, in Canada, with the immigration policies, right now it's 80% Indian guys. It's pretty insane, right? It's just Indian guys, right? So if you actually look at the government statistics of what ethnic population is from what countries are immigrating to Canada, right now it's like 80% Indian international students, right? And so that's actually, diluting, and it's making it worse, right, for the average Indian guy. But if you can be a guy that does stand out from that, stereotype of all these guys, I mean, you're just gonna get all the results, right? Because, dude, I see it all the time. I see so many girls complaining about all these Indian immigrants, coming here and taking the jobs and all that stuff, right? Because
All these
that
Indian
it's
immigrants coming here wearing their fucking leopard print shirts. You're the only fucking Indian guy I have ever seen wearing a leopard print shirt. That's amazing.
That's funny. Yeah, so it's actually like it's a huge problem. It's a huge problem for me because like everywhere I go, I just see fucking Indian guys now, right? Here in Toronto, I don't know if it's as bad in the States. I know in America they kind of are they more let in the highly educated, Indian immigrants, but in Canada they let in more like entry level, international students from India because of taxes and stuff like that, right? But the reason I think I get such good results is because of my ability to stand out from, the average Indian guy, right? And so back to what Mike said earlier today, if you're the top 5% of your ethnicity, you're going to get way better results. Just figure out a way to show that you're not average, right? Or show you're not the average guy, right? And you're going to become a lot more attractive to other ethnicities.
So yeah, so this is very interesting, and there will be like there are like two problems I think like the question is brown guys for other white girls. Yeah. So there are like two problems we are facing. One is like deep, like core belief system is wrong, and the outer game. So first we talk about like how the Indian people think. The problem with the Indian, like Indians, the brown people, and I'm actually the immigrant. So what the problem they have, and even like the West-born Indians, origin guys, this slavery mindset, and this is something what happened in India in the past when the India got independence. So the culture, Indian culture was suppressed, and they were taught in India that white man is the West. The Western way of thinking is the West. Indian are like, they have their culture is you don't need to proud of your culture. You have to be ashamed. So what happens? This is you will find only in India. So they hate even speaking in their own mother tongue. So they are ashamed of speaking in their own mother tongue. So when you are proud of you are when you're and when you speak in English, then and you're seen as a high value person, high status person. And when you speak in your mother tongue, when you are low value, low status person, then you see when you're going outside what kind of mindset you will be having. So this is the first problem Indians are facing, this slavery mindset. If you I learned from the examples, if you see from the all races, be it black, black, forget about like the white one, but when the all race, when it comes to like black, Asians, Indians, three major races, which race fucks the most, bang the most, like white girls. You will find that like after white, the black people have the second number. They date white girls more than Indians and Asians. So now we have to think about what is the reason behind why they able to do it. So first of all, the black people, they are united. I mean, of course the Asians are also united, but Indians are not united at all. This is the first problem. Black people never, the black people they don't think like that. Oh, I want to be that white man and then I will date white girls. I want to be like them and then I will get white girls. They don't think like that. They are proud of who you are. They are united. The Indians, they think like white way of thinking is the best way of thinking. This is we should go. So when they come to West, or even the West-born Indians, when they go there, they hate themselves. They will be. You will see like West-born Indian origin people will disassociate themselves from India compared to a Afro-American person, like to Africa. So why? Because they hate that identity. They want to be someone else. They want to be they because they are not feeling like like proud of themselves from inside. So when you have this problem, your core inner belief, inner mindset is so weak, it is not gonna work. So this is the inner game. They have to think in a way that whatever they are, whatever from they're coming from, it is more than enough. They don't need to be ashamed. When they are not ashamed, when they are united, then other people, other races will see, girl will see this thing, and that will also help them in like raising up the self-esteem and also in dating. Now now is the outer game, which Justin is also saying, like breaking the stereotype, which is like in one way, like good game, charisma, having some tattoos, and like how much you can get out of the stereotype. So I will see, like I see this thing in a you have to change the core inner game mindset for Indians. If you want to be successful, if you want to be respectful in your community. So there was a one interesting, like I'm working on some, like some video, and I was checking on the internet. There was in America, there was a show in 80s, The Simpsons, and there was an Indian character, and
Apu?
Apu. Yeah. So that was a very hardcore Indian accent, that guy. And I was and then he was made fun of, and then Indian stereotype was like seen as that, like, that weird nerdy Indian stereotype. And then in late in, I think, 2018, 19 around, somebody made like against it, and they removed the character. uh, Sometime so they were making fun of that Indian character, and seen as a comedy. And it was from 80s. So the question was, why the Indian community not united and stopped it when it's just started? That's the question. If something happens, like, because I saw something like in 20s and 30s, some Disney cartoon, when they were making fun of this African culture. But you don't see something like this in from the very, because the African people were united and they fight for themselves, you understand, to improve their stereotype. And this
Are
is
they united
something
though?
Indians are.
A lot of black on black crime.
What?
Kind of lost track. Are black people united? I don't know.
They are united in a one way. They are united, because Black Lives Matter or something. They in that way, because there are always exceptions. But when it comes to Indians, they are not united the way black people are. It's the same thing. If you see that religion, if you see the religion, why the Muslims are so strong? Because they are united. Something happens in Gaza, all the world start to fight. If something happened to a Hindu community in anywhere in the world, no Hindu take care about that thing. So you understand. Of course, the Muslims are also fighting with each other, but when it comes
Yeah.
to overall unitedness, then you will find black people will be more united compared to Indians. In religion also, Muslims are more united compared to Hindus or even Christians.
You know what's interesting in dating? People always talk about society and like culture as a whole. If you're waiting for society to fix your dating issues, you're going to be waiting for thousands of years. I think the only thing you can change is yourself as a singular data point. Right? So it's like for example, health. If you want to get in shape, you can get in shape in 6 months by eating right and going to the gym, right? But if you want to get in shape, hoping that the U.S. government's going to have some amazing healthcare plan, you could be waiting for decades.
I'm not saying about the society. I'm saying about the inner game, the way the Indians should think. They should stop praising that Western way of thinking is the best. This is the only way they can. Because I'm not saying like you have to you should adapt to the situation, but you should not be ashamed of who you are. That's the main thing, because Indians are ashamed of who they are. That's why they think in that way, and that's the inner game problem they will face.